Hello and welcome. This is Best Foot Forward Shoes, the podcast, and this is episode 45. Thank you so much to everybody for watching us on YouTube, or whether you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever audio platform you use. I really do appreciate it. We've been seeing a huge uptick in listens on those platforms, and I really do appreciate everybody checking in. And today, man, we've got someone who I feel like has such a wealth of knowledge in sneakers and is really tapped into streetwear, sneaker culture, has his own podcast. You probably already know him, Seth Eaton. He is coming to us from Atlanta in Georgia, over there in America. He's been really, really gracious with his time and given us a little bit of it. And man, I really do appreciate you coming on. How are you doing over there?
My dude, I'm just happy to be here. I'm coming here as like a fan of yours. Like I love the content that you have been pumping out over. I'm trying to think, when did I first follow you? It may be almost a year-ish now, at least like a few months, but yeah, dude, I've been tuning into the podcast every now and then. I've definitely tuned into the podcast you did with the Soul Brothers guys, and just checking out your short form videos, man. You're crushing it. And also your taste in sneakers. Bro, I love it. Just maybe it's close to what I like, so that's why I enjoy consuming your content. But yeah, dude, I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here and chill. Finally chat.
Yeah, if you haven't checked out any of Seth's stuff, I mean, he's got an Instagram, he's doing YouTube vlogs, he's got a podcast with Charlie, Winona Kicks. He's got, he's obviously tapped into like Adidas. He's wearing the t-shirt. He's got, tons of reviews on sneakers, but he loves, New Balance, Jordans, all of the sneakers. And I think that's kind of, I love diversifying and checking out different brands like Anta, like, like even Chinese brands like Li Ning, those sort of brands put out a ton of different stuff. And, the 3D printed shoes is really hot right now. I saw you recently just got the APTHCRY Mules in as well, or clogs, whatever they're called. But man,
got them on right now, bro. These are my new daily wears. It's crazy.
Yeah, it looks like Seth has put together a really good product there. I like the orange too, a little bit biased towards the orange, so definitely love that colorway.
Makes sense.
But what's so good about it in comparison to some of the other kind of 3D printed shoes you got?
So I've really just sort of gotten into 3D printed shoes, especially through Zellerfeld. If you watch the vlogs I did on YouTube, I got my first pair maybe like 2 weeks ago. And before that, really the only pairs I had were the Adidas like 4D shoes, the like slip-ons. I tried some of their like 4D stuff in the past, and then one of my buddies on Instagram, Artrian, he creates his own sort of like 3D printed shoes that I've worn a little bit, but something about these, like they are just super soft. And I don't know about you, like I spend most of my time in this little office studio setup that I have in my 2-bed apartment. And most of the time I'm wearing like the Nike Rejuvenate Mule sort of like slip-on things, and they're comfy, but my feet get like super hot in them. I don't know why. Even though there's like air vents, they're just always sweaty, which is so gross. But I'm like, bro, why is this happening? And ever since I've been wearing these, I don't know if something about this mesh material or the fact that it's like a mule, it just helps with breathability. But the cushion is just like next level. It's kind of addicting. I'm converting a little bit. I don't know if it's a main like daily wear outside, but in here, they're great. It's cool.
Nice. And you're definitely not into Crocs. Like that's like, do you have Crocs? Are you kind of choosing these over Crocs? Like, would that be kind of a choice you have to make?
I'm not really into Crocs. I have one pair. They sent me, it's like their Ghostbusters collaboration that I guess they just released. I have some contacts at Crocs, and they're like literally anything you want to review, let us know and we'll send them to you. I don't really just find joy in wearing that kind of shoe. When I put on a shoe and go outside, I want to like feel something, whether it's like, oh, these are sick, or they're comfortable, or like it'd be really cool if you get a compliment just going out through your everyday life. Like if someone sees it, they're like, oh, it's a cool pair of shoes. Those are the shoes I like to wear. But Crocs just don't do it for me. I know the kids like them, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just not me. I'm too old.
Yeah. I feel like I've missed the boat, and I don't know. For me, I want something that's a little bit more innovative in tech. Like we're talking about 3D
Yeah.
printed sneakers, and I recently did just get the Adidas Climacool laced. So again, a really
Oh,
cool kind of construction. It's got different sort of layers, different thicknesses, and all that. I'm going to be doing a wear test for anyone who wants to check that out. I might have already
Yeah.
had that one up by the time we post this this podcast. But yeah, these are really sick. I know you've got like the mock version, the one that doesn't have the laces, and
Yeah,
let me
grab these.
Adidas just has, I don't know, they've kind of this year, last year they had obviously the Sambas, the Gazelles, lots of those sort of thing. And I feel like this year they've really branched out into different kind of avenues, including these like Climacool laced, non-laced versions, the Adidas Jellyfish, that sort of thing. Adidas has really just tapped into that kind of cool, quirky kind of stuff that really pricks like sneakerheads' brain. They're like, oh, this is something new, this is something cool. Like, what's that kind of been like for you when you've kind of been reviewing shoes for a while and you like to see some new sort of tech? Like, does that really excite you?
It does. I guess it kind of depends. I am like such a nerd when it comes to quality of like materials that people use in their sneakers. So like the 3D printed stuff kind of it's weird to me because I'm really into like high quality leathers and suedes. Like one of my first retail jobs when I was in college was actually at Cole Haan. So not like sneakers, more like dress shoes. And I used to just like geek out over all the cool dress shoe hybrids we would get in, like I was working at an outlet. So we would get sort of the more like torn down versions of the nicer shoes. But when we would get like the $400, $500 dress shoes in, I would just be geeking over them because I'm like, whoa, like this leather is so good. The genuine leather like outsoles, like this is crazy. So I don't know. I just love materials and the breakdown of shoes. Also, I grew up skating. So when you're shredding through like 2 or 3 shoes every like few months, like you start to pick up on little things where it's like, oh, this sort of suede takes the abuse that the grip tape on your board is giving your shoe like a little bit better than maybe this other material, which kind of led to me just geeking out over all of it. But I just love when brands innovate. I think it's so cool. And I also love like the midsole technology they use, like all the different cushioning, like Asics Gel, Adidas Boost, like all this stuff is so cool. It's just so interesting.
Yeah, for sure. It's like you just spoke about the tech that goes into skating stuff, and New Balance had their kind of new release with the 933 with Andrew Reynolds. I am yet to pick up a pair of those. That's definitely one of those like I'm going to pick up at the end of the year, perhaps when they go on sale. They've got a ton of different colorways, but like, is that more of a purely skating shoe, or can that be worn in like lifestyle means as well?
So I've worn them, I think, casually once or twice, but I actually skated them for the first time, I think like 2 weeks ago now. And like they hold up, like both aspects. I mean, I skated them for probably 2-ish hours the other day, and there was like zero wear on the suede that they used. And I was just like, damn, like this is good. Like this is so cool. But they still have that same DNA as like a 993 that you would get from like a classic vintage runner from the brand. So it kind of teeters the line between lifestyle and like performance sports, which would be like the skating aspect. But I just think that, to me personally, not to get ahead of the conversation, is one of my like top probably 5, if not like top 3 shoes of the year, because just the level of detail and everything that went into creating that shoe. And also Andrew Reynolds is like my favorite skater of all time. So I'm like, that's cool. That's super cool, man.
It's kind of cool to see a new silhouette as well as a new retooling. And I'm talking about the Nike SB 95.
Oh, yeah.
Like that kind of skating coming into a lifestyle space, and that kind of crossover is always really cool. Obviously, SB Dunks aren't really as big as they kind of used to be. in some way, but like they're still releasing a ton of really good ones, especially really good colorways. But it's good to see some new silhouettes coming out with new tech. And I have missed out on so many releases of that SB95. I'm really hoping I can pick up either
Really?
like there's a blue pair coming out, or like there's like a brown pair coming out. So I think I lost like 4 raffles, and there's like one more that I know they're not super high on resale, so I probably will pick them up. But yeah, this kind of retooling of that SB90 of that 95 was really cool. And have you tried that pair yet on feet?
I haven't. I I wanted to go for them, but purely just to skate them, and I saw a ton of reviews, and apparently like the toe box material they use, like that suede, is either super fragile or it's just super thin. I don't know what it is, but I watch a lot of Rose Anvil. I don't know if you've seen him on YouTube, but he cuts shoes in half, talks about all the materials they used. One of the guys on his team, I can't think of his name right now, but he skates and reviews a lot of skate shoes. He was doing sort of like a 100 kickflip warm up just to get used to the shoe. And like halfway through, he ripped through the toe box already. And I was like, wait, what? Like, that's not good. And I saw another video of someone just wearing them casually, and they sort of ripped too. And I'm like, what's going on? This is weird. It's such a cool shoe though. And I want a pair, but I'm like, I don't know about skating them. Like, I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a weird one.
I think the skating aspect is something that I'm not hugely involved in anymore. I had as a kid, but I think if I was to wear them, I'd just be wearing them for purely lifestyle reasons. And like a big fan of the 95, I've probably picked up 7 pairs this year. You know, like the Mandarins, the Neons, obviously the 30th anniversary, but like, you know, the Armand Meunier pair, that was incredible. I know that.
What's your favorite so far this year? The Mandarins, I really
think
like.
The Mandarins were, or man, that's hard.
Yeah.
The Levi's, I'm probably going to say is my favorite. The Levi's, I just love the kind of unique look of that denim on there. I like the kind of, I got the white pair, so it's kind of like, it's not quite white, it's like an off brown kind of, that's going to be a great kind of summer shoe. It's scary to get them a little bit dirty, but hey, you know, you gotta wear them. Got to be a little bit less afraid of, you know, getting them dirty. But I think the Levi's pair, and then maybe slightly just under that, the Armand Meunier pair. Those are probably my favorites. I kind of put those collabs a little bit further away from the OG pairs, like the Mandarin, the Neon, the you know, what was the off pink one, the Blossom pair, something like that.
Yeah.
Those ones are kind of, I feel like, in their own category. But there's been so many that you could make basically 2 lists of 95s collabs and OG colorways. So
how cool is that?
Yeah.
What a time. Yeah. What a time to be alive. Like,
yeah.
Oh, it's so cool.
This year has been pretty crazy, man. And you've been obviously going from strength to strength with your podcast. You went full time doing this, content creating. I guess, how is that? I suppose I just want to go from the start. Like, where did this sneaker passion and when did this content creation kind of journey come from? Like, is it from the very beginning where you're really interested in shoes, or did the content creation come first and then sneakers came after that?
For me, it was all about shoes for as long as I could remember. My mom tells me all the time, she's like, you used to just, every time we'd go to the store, or you'd be like just running around the neighborhood begging for a new pair of shoes. And if she got me a pair of shoes that I like wasn't into, I would either not wear them, or I don't remember doing this as a kid, but she remembers it. There was one of my friends in our neighborhood growing up who really liked this pair of, I don't know if it was Chuck Taylors or something. It was just a pair of Converse. He really liked them, and I was wearing them. And I was like, oh, well, you can just have them. And I literally took them off my feet and gave them to him and walked home barefoot. And she was like, what happened to your new shoes I got you? And I was just like, oh, well, I gave them to whatever his name is down the street. He really liked them. And she was like, Seth, you can't do that. You're like, why are you doing this? And I was like, I don't know. I just figured we could go to the store and you give me another pair that I really liked. And I was just such a snob about it as a kid. But I think it really came from just like growing up skating, because I started skating when I was like super, super young. And like I said, like you're destroying shoes. So even if you don't love shoes, like I had friends that weren't really like into shoes growing up in school, and we're all constantly like having to buy shoes every like 2 months, 3 months, just because we shredded them. And over like time, you start to realize like, oh, maybe I shouldn't skate in these etnies that are essentially the same sort of like nubuck material as like an infrared 6 on a skate shoe. Like, oh, this probably doesn't last as long as a suede shoe. So next time you go to the store or you're swiping through like CCS magazine, like maybe I'll figure out a suede shoe to get. So that just sort of kept the hold over me for up until now. And I've just always kind of been into it. Even in college, shopping at we had an outlet mall that was 20-ish minutes right down the street from the school. So that's where I worked a lot. We'd go to the Adidas, the Nike outlet, the Finish Line over there, which was my first retail job in school. My first job was Finish Line, which was really cool. Got to see a ton of shoes coming in. But yeah, that's where we got all of our shoes. Is where we did all the fly nets, the free runs, and it just sort of kept the interest going because it was stuff that I could actually afford and wear. But yeah, it's been just a forever passion, I guess.
Nice. And shout out to retail stores. Oftentimes passions can come from working at them, whether it be sneakers, whether it be like for me, I worked at a tech store, like basically selling TVs and iPods and laptops, and kind of spurned where I even work now, where I work in like the tech industry, like IT industry. So that kind of spurns people on, I think, sometimes where they have a job in their teens, and then it kind of sparks something where, you know, how many countless stories have you seen of content creators or sneaker executives that have worked at sneaker retail stores? Like, you know, even guys like, for, I don't know, Matt Welty, for example, you know, used to work at all these stores, and now he's, you know, at Complex doing, you know, tons of interviews with people, you know, putting out awesome interviews with, you know, the Undefeated guys and Angelo Barque, you know, all those sort of things. Like, that comes from his passion when he was a kid working at retail stores. So all of that stuff kind of combines really well together. You know what I mean?
You put the reps in, dude. And it's so cool, like seeing the behind the scenes of working retail too. Cause like my first job, Finish Line, from there, like later on down the line, I worked at Foot Action, Champs, Foot Locker, like, and I was an assistant manager at like Champs and Foot Locker for probably a year and a half, 2 years. And just seeing how the retail space works and like how they reserve like the more sought after pairs for raffles, and just, I don't know, seeing all the cool stuff coming in, being the first person to unbox and see like the new Jordan that's coming out. Oh, dude, I wish I was doing content during that time, because I could have easily been like, here's a first look at the whatever Jordan XYZ that's coming out. Like, I used to geek over that stuff, and I used to have to like tell a lot of the people working there, like, this is the shoe. Like, here's all the fun details if anyone asks you about them. Like, even the like Ultra Boost and running shoes, like, this is why this is a cool shoe. Push this, like, people will love it. So
I sometimes go into stores like that, Foot Locker, or even there's like a couple of retailers. There's one called Hype. It's kind of like a nationwide chain. And I go in there and I start chatting to some of the people there, and I'm like, oh, so you've got, you know, this type shoe, you got the Salomons, you got this, you know, got the XT6, and they're like, yeah, we have the Salomons, and they have no idea what they're talking about.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, they're just, I mean, a lot of the time they're kind of either like, it is just a job, or they're more into fashion. A lot of those kind of stores, like, unless it's like, you know, like a hardcore like consignment store or a resale store, they're not really that into shoes. They're kind of there for the fashion, and a lot of people see shoes as an accessory to the fashion, whereas I'm more like, the shoes are the main part. Let's pick the shoes first, and then everything else will come after that. It's kind of two different ways of thinking. So that's awesome, man. And if you had to put into one word how this transition from from like 9 to 5 work to doing content, what would you kind of say? What's one way you would describe it?
Oh man, it's a weird, one word is impossible. The transition. See, for me, I think this was always my full-time gig. Right when I started, this is what I took serious. And my jobs that I had took sort of a backseat. And this was just like everything, because I was like, this is what I want to do. I know I can get to the point where this is the thing that provides for me, it just takes a lot of time, which took away from my full-time jobs that were actually providing for me at the time. I think since I started creating content, I went through 3 or 4, I think 4 jobs where it was like you get the job, you start working, you're doing everything, and then over time you're like, well, you get to that sort of lull state in your career where you're like, I'm just going to start working on the side project. And that sort of like takes over your mind. So even when you're working, you're like, but I could be editing this video, or I'm sort of like scripting stuff in my mind, being like, here's what I want to do. But yeah, it's kind of always been my main job ever since I started, if that makes sense. Maybe I'm just rambling on, but yeah, I would say it's freeing, but also it's like really stressful because in the sneaker space, and a lot of people don't talk about this. I know the full-time people don't, but like brands don't really pay all that much in the sneaker space. Like you're not getting, like Adidas has never paid me, which may confuse a lot of people because they send me a ton of stuff. They send me on trips, which is like amazing. I love it. They don't pay me for like talking about their stuff. Nike definitely doesn't. New Balance has never. ASICS, like it's all the third-party brands like eBay. It could be like Crep Protect, like anything adjacent to the sneaker itself, like Foot Locker, Champs. Like that's where the actual money is, which is weird. You don't really expect it. Like you start reviewing shoes and you're like, oh, like Nike would probably pay me to start like promoting some of this stuff. Nah, they don't care. They don't care, dude. So that was definitely weird getting into it and being like, so how can I make this full time? Like you start putting together a list of like everything that needs to happen. And then it sort of just goes not the way you think it would. You start talking to brands and different brands that are actually willing to help you financially or like compensate you for the work that you put in promoting your brand. And yeah, it's weird.
That's
Weird.
a struggle for creatives. I feel there's oftentimes
Across
it's
the
not just like sneaker. Yeah, that's a very small part. I think photographers,
Yeah.
even people who work in like the, I suppose, AV industry as well get that a little bit as sometimes. Like if there's an event going on and they're like, oh, I need a sound person or I need a vision person. They're like, oh, can you come and do it? Oh, yeah, but we can't pay. We'll give you dinner, like that sort of thing. Like
100%.
that sort of thing kind of happens in a lot of different industries that are creative, and but I think that's because a lot of people who are in charge of those events or sneaker brands or anything like that, they haven't really done that sort of thing. And it kind of goes back, I think, to what you said about the retail. I think that a lot of people would have more of an appreciation for retail workers if they had worked retail. Similarly, if brands or organizers had done what creatives are doing, they would understand the mechanics of having to, provide, but also trying to be creative at the same time. Does that kind of resonate with you at all?
100%. 100%. But it's cool, dude. Honestly, like I've never been happier in life. Like this is the coolest thing. Like I'm literally doing what I love, which is just nerding out about shoes all day and night. Like, bro, couldn't be happier. This is the dream.
And getting married as well pretty recently.
It's been a crazy few years.
Yeah.
This year alone.
Yeah. Yeah, I often think like, especially kind of post 2020, finishing university, it's like, when is life kind of going to slow down? And then you kind of realize about 5 years after, like, it doesn't really slow down. You just get used to it. You just get used to how busy things are with family, with, I feel like I haven't been bored in a long time. That might be to do with being on social media all the time, but I mean,
that's true.
There's that side to it.
Would be nice.
Downtime. But I think that my wife says I'm my own worst enemy, where I can't sit down like and just be, that's my problem. But I think I'd be very unhappy if I was just sitting by myself and not really doing anything, just watching TV all day. I'd be like, I need to do something. That's my vibe.
That mountain to climb, just like something off in the distance. I literally said this to my wife last night because she was sending me probably like 50 Instagram reels and TikToks in a row, like as people do in relationships, sitting beside each other. And I don't know, I'm like chronically not online, which is weird given the profession that I have chosen. I'm just not really on like social media all that much. And when I'm on social media, I'm sort of like Salehi, like a sponge, where I'm just sort of like looking at what other people are doing and trying to think to myself, like a lot of my For You page is like tech or like fashion. It's not really a lot of sneakers, which is weird, but like that's where I get a lot of my inspiration for the content I create. Cause I'm like, how are they able to spin this idea of like the smallest PC case that you can build, and how can they make that interesting? And I'm just like, I don't know. I have so many notes on my phone and Notion apps where I'm just sitting there nerding out about how other people do their reels. And she was sending me videos last night, and I was like, I'm trying to like study. Like, this is my study session right now. And she's like, dude, you're such a nerd. Just watch funny videos. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I need to take some time and just relax a little bit.
Are you really in a are you even in a relationship if your chat with your other partner is not just reels after reels after reels, and the occasional like, hey, can you get this thing from the shops for me? Like
every time.
It's
so fun.
It's reels. But I mean, that kind of comes, with living with someone. All the talking you need to do happens in person, whereas I can't chat to people in person from the US, which is, an obvious, because I'm 9,000 miles away. But I suppose my next question would be, coming from working on your content all the time, do you ever get burned out? Like, do you ever get so tired and you just kind of just don't really want to do it? You said you're not on social media that much, but how do you kind of overcome that and come back the next day, sit down and finish what you were doing?
I think I get burnt out once a week, maybe twice. Like, I'm currently in that burnout stage, and it's like, it's fine. Like, you just, for me, a lot of the times I do what I did last night, where I just go on little side quests or like study sessions where I just sort of like scroll with intention, which is something I've heard a few creators say. Like, I'm just scrolling to sort of like find something that's going to spark that next idea, because I know something's out there, and either I'm not seeing it because I'm not sitting here consuming social media to get inspiration. But yeah, I try and put aside time at like near the middle of my day. Like, I get back from the gym, which is something I've started doing way more now that I'm full time. I'm like, oh, I can use this time in the morning to either go on runs, go to the gym, which I've been doing every day, every morning since I've been full time, which is like so nice to just like clear your head and not think about work. And then I get to the office and I'm like, okay, here's my checklist of everything I need to do this week. Where do I start? What do I want to do today? Is it shoot B-roll? Is it write like some outlines for scripts, or is it actually shoot content? And yeah, just dealing with burnout. Like, burnout's hard and no one talks about it. But like, dude, it happens all the time, especially if you're doing what like we're doing. Like, I'm to the point now, and a lot of creators are, where we sort of have a formula where it's like, I need to do like, here's the type of video that I know I can create. I know it's going to do at least semi well. Maybe it'll perform better than I expect, and that's cool. But I know how to do it. Here's how it's going to go down. But I don't know. Like, it happens. It just, burnout happens. How do you deal with it? Have you gotten to the point where you're like, oh my God, you hit a brick wall?
Not really yet. I mean, I'm kind of still in that sort of, don't really have a like loyal audience, just have like what is now friends. But I have, most people are, from the US, so they're not like their family. But to deal with that, I suppose what I would do is just take your mind off it with other things like sports. Like, really excited about, the NFL season coming up, just kind of delve into like, I don't know, fantasy football, for example. That sort of thing is just like a nice kind of escape. But really, it's not really work yet. It's more like, it's just fun, like creating stuff. And I've always been a creative person. I think I really missed doing creative stuff. Like, I was a photographer beforehand, and like did it like for money, and then I stopped. Now I'm doing this, and like, it's...
See, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I kind
Given your content.
yeah, trying to be a little bit more creative, and I do enjoy photography. You know, like chatting to, you know, there's guys who do videos like yourself, but then there's guys who really do like professional level photography, like AD Sneaks and guys like that. And I just really appreciate the way that they are able to capture content like sneakers and stuff. And yeah, try and gather inspiration, like you said, scrolling with a purpose, and trying to toe the line between copying and being inspired. And that's a really hard,
That's the other thing.
that's a really hard line. And do you ever feel like that? You have sort of either like an imposter syndrome where you're like, am I really doing this well, or am I just copying what someone else is doing?
Oh yeah. I mean, it happens all the time. I do like to put like my own little twist on it. Like I see your videos all the time and I'm like, oh, that angle, like, oh, that's so good. Or the lighting. I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. And then I'm just like, well, I can't do that. Cause then it's like, it's obviously like copying to a certain extent. But like maybe incorporate that angle like somewhere in my 1 minute video. Cause I'm like, oh, I think that's really cool. So I don't know. There's so many levels to it and everything, but yeah, it's I had another point I was gonna make and I can't think of it. But one other thing that I do almost every day, which is weird. Like I don't really game all that much. I just say this as I'm staring at my Xbox right here. But like in the middle, I know, in the middle of the day recently over the past like few months, around like 1 or 2 p.m., I'll literally just turn on Call of Duty Warzone, pick up my controller, play like one game, and then it kind of gets like my heart rate going where it's like super intense. I'm like focused on that. And then the second I like lose or die or whatever, I just turn it off and I'm like, okay, oof, that like got me going a little bit. Now let's get back to work. And it's sort of just that like midday distraction just to sort of reset my brain. But yeah, that's one of the things I do. But yeah, copying's back to copying. Like that's hard. Like a lot of people literally just rip off your videos word for word. And I don't know. It's hard. It's definitely hard.
Well, some people, I've heard like, you know, like Joe Freshgoods or people say that they take it as a compliment when someone bootlegs their shoes. Like they kind of,
Oh yeah.
they take it as like, oh, well, this is worth someone copying. Then
Yeah.
I'm doing something right in some way. But yeah, especially when there's like monetary pieces attached to it, can get a little bit complicated.
That's what I was going to say. So when I was first like starting out, when I was probably around where you are, how many are you on Instagram, TikTok? Where are you at follower wise?
Around I suppose about 1,500, maybe
Uh-huh.
5,000 on YouTube, sort of that sort of range. Yeah.
So when I was almost like right where you were, I was just making all different types of content, like all based around sneakers, but I was just like trying every different thing, just throwing stuff at the fan to see what stuck and what got views. And I sort of landed on what works for me, like my style of reviews. And then over time, I started to see people use those like other styles that I was creating and running with that. And then I'm like looking at their videos like, man, I did that like a year ago. I should probably make a video like that again. And then I'm like, well, then people are just going to think I'm copying that guy again. And I'm like, well, I guess I can't really make that video. So it's like, it puts you in a weird place. It's like, I don't know. But that thought just popped in my mind and I had to share it.
So this year obviously has been a huge year for releases. You've had retro Jordans, you've had, you know, new tech we were talking about before with the 3D sneakers, but has there kind of been a moment this year or a sneaker this year that has kind of stood out to you, or a trend that's really, really stood out to you at all?
Oh, that's a good, what would you say the trends are for like sneakers this year?
I mean, we have seen the kind of low profile brands getting into low profile shoes, like the 204L from New Balance, that sort of thing. You know, obviously Adidas still has a ton of, you know, Gazelle collaborations with like Clot and, you know, Bad Bunny as well. Like those sort of shoes have been really hot. The the running shoes, I feel like has been a really big one, like the Pegasus Premium, the
Yeah.
Evo SL, the Adidas Evo SL, like those sort of performance running shoes used for lifestyle has been a bit of a trend. That's something that
Yeah.
I like. But also, yeah, like retro Jordans have kind of come back, but are sitting, which is great for sneakerheads. So
Isn't that
that's
so
that's
cool?
that's sort of a trend. Like one of those kind of stood out to you at all?
See, that's when you brought that up, literally my mind just went blank. I was like, what even are the trends this year? Because I feel like they've all sort of carried over from the past few years. I'm like looking at a shoe over here and I don't think it's on trend, but let me grab it. So like the New Balance Allerdale, I think brands going this direction where they're making like super high quality, more like mature footwear, I think is like really cool just because I worked at Cole Haan. So it's like this I geek out about. I didn't even make a video on this shoe. I probably should have because it's like super unique, but that happens all the times where I'm like, I'll buy a shoe or multiple shoes and there's just too many other videos I have to make and they get shelved. But like this one's really cool to me. I love them. The Evo SL, incredible shoe. I haven't tried the Nike equivalent, but that shoe is incredible. I wear it probably 4 days a week, I would say, just like in the rotation. But onto like the more low profile shoes. I did actually pick up 2 pairs, and they're my first 2 pairs
Okay.
of low profile shoes. So
Damn.
I don't know.
I'm excited.
I don't know if I can pull them off, dude, but I think these are like the coolest shoes that I've gotten in a while. So these are the Brain Dead and Adidas Japan lows. And like, dude, these are so cool because like it's literally so low to the ground. Like there's almost no midsole. But the flames inspired by like old wrestling masks, I think they're so sick. Like the material on the suede and leather, the highs I couldn't do. I couldn't do it. Oh man, they were a little too high for me. So I actually went for both these on the Adidas Confirmed app and hit on both, which thank goodness because I didn't know which one I liked more. But haven't worn them yet. We'll see if it's something that I can see myself actually wearing. But right now, like so cool. So cool.
Yeah, very nice, man. That's they were definitely a Braindead has done some really good under the radar stuff. Like people haven't loved them. I love their Stan Smith one they did last year, like with Adidas.
Yeah.
Like that was really cool. Worn them a bunch. Similar in that kind of premium leather with the Allerdale, like the premium leather kind of low profile shoes that could be even worn as like dress shoes. Like the Allerdale was a pair that I haven't picked up yet, and I would love to perhaps at the end of the year with any sort of sales or something going on. But I would love to pick up that shoe because obviously New Balance, great premium like comfort materials.
100%.
I think that's a great trend. What about any sort of retro Jordans have you picked up this year?
I have picked up, I think 2 pair of Jordans, dude, which is like, I'm the worst sneakerhead. I'm not a big like Jordan guy, which is just, I don't know. I can wear ones, but I'm also like a 5'8" white guy. So it's like, some of this stuff I can't rock. And I used to get made fun of all the time when I was like the AM at Champs because we would get like so many cool Jordans in and I'd be like, man, I want these so bad. And all the employees just buy them. And I'm like, dude, I can't pull this off. Like, I just can't pull off a pair of 6s or a pair of 4s or 3s. I would love to. It's just not, it's not my style. But there's been so many cool releases. But for Jordans this year, I was lucky enough, like, dude, such a blessing to get invited to the Bread Band 85, like, invite only sort of like purchase release that they did at Soul Play over in Atlanta. They didn't gift you the shoe. They were literally just like, here's your size. You can buy it if you want, which was so cool. That is probably like, if I had like a top 5 list of shoes that I've worn the most this year, that is probably up there. Like it's probably number 3. If we're going out, I'm wearing that shoe because I just think they look so cool. The leather is incredible. The way it's like wearing in looks so good. But outside of that, I also picked up on, I think it was like the Kith Europe app, the Royal 85 lows they did that didn't even release to like the public in the US. They may have released where you are. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, like I don't think they did. But yeah, that one had to use on the Kith app. I've worn them a little bit. I'm more of a low top guy than a high top, but I honestly wear the breads more than the lows. And I just think they're so clean. Such a clean shoe.
The one that I kind of think about is the Nigel lows. That one's something that's on my radar, as well as the Fragment lows. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to try and get those ones, the Fragment Travis Scott ones. Like, those are going to be awesome to try and pick up. And the highs, obviously. Man, I love the Shattered Backboards this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I have one to show for that. This package just showed up from Jordan Brand like a week ago. I don't know who at Jordan Brand sent this, but bro, it is a shattered like glass case with the Air Jordan logo front and center. And it actually had a pair of the Shattered Backboards in it. And bro, I was shook because it just showed up in this like giant box. This was probably bubble wrapped 100 times over. And like I opened it. I had no idea what was inside. So I was like, should I get my camera and record this? And I was like, probably not. Like, I don't even know what this is. And then I got like to the actual box itself and freaked out. Like, this is the coolest thing. Like I said, I don't know who sent this because I haven't seen anybody else with this. I think Sniper Jones, who's also another creator in Atlanta, got these. But like outside of that, he's the only person I've seen. So I'm like, I don't even know who to thank. But so cool. So cool. Such a crazy release too.
Yeah, man. And they actually came to Australia like a month before, and that box is so sick. Like, that's so sick. That's really cool.
Like, display piece I can never get rid of.
Yeah,
now.
that's
Like,
got to go.
great.
That's got to go behind you. There you go.
Exactly.
You got to think about that, especially if you're going to move house. I feel like that's going to be a hell of a time.
You're telling me.
Yeah.
Plus this desk I'm using, which is also like super heavy, like full grain. Like, this is a wooden desk.
Yeah.
I'm dreading it.
Yeah.
Fully dreading it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hell of a move.
And one other question, and I'm going to address the elephant in the room. You might have just heard some people. There are some things going on top of my roof right now, which I cannot explain, and I'm trying my best, but please bear with us. You know, if you've made it this far in the podcast, first of all, I really do appreciate you. If you've actually listened this far, like if you're enjoying the conversation, you know, please subscribe. Please, you know, check out any of the other interviews that we've done after you've watched this one. Like, all of those sort of things really help the channel, and I really do appreciate everybody watching. Of course, you can check out all of Seth's stuff, you know, down below as well. And again, I really do appreciate you coming on. There's been, of course, we've talked about the trends, but is there anything kind of in these brands, these major ones especially, or even minor ones, that have kind of been exciting you? Like any sort of new tech, any sort of direction that they're going, collaborators, anything that's like exciting you either now or kind of for the future as well?
Dude, oh man, is new tech. I don't know. I'm really just excited for the fact that people aren't only focused on Nike and Jordan Brand. Because there was like, when I got into sneakers, like sneakers, not just like skate shoes and runners, I was either senior, like sophomore of high school or in college, but I was scrolling on the like R sneakers subreddit. And at the time, like Gel Light 3s, Made in USA New Balances, and like dope retro Jordans were like all people posted. So when I was like really getting into shoes, that is what drew my attention. Like, one of the first shoes that I was ever like, oh my God, I need, was the salmon toe Gel Light 3s from Kith that Ronnie Feig did. Like, that shoe was so iconic to me, and I just needed it. Could never get them because they're still so expensive and haven't re-released the originals. But like, I feel like we're finally back in a similar sense to where like it's not just one brand that's ruling everything. I mean, you have so many brands doing so many cool things. And I don't know if we've ever been in a place in the sneakers space where it was like, oh, why are you wearing like ASICs? Why are you wearing New Balance? Like some people have obviously had those thoughts in your head where you're like, why wouldn't you just wear Nike? Like, but now I feel like it's so much more acceptable. Like looking at just my shelf right here, I have Adidas, Stray, New Balance, Converse, ASICs, Nike, like everything. Puma is all like right here. And I'm like, that is the coolest thing to me, that all of these brands are just creating, whether it's new silhouettes or bringing back archival like models, like, and they're all being perceived like pretty well. And that just, I love walking down the street and seeing so many cool shoes from all these different brands. Like that brings me joy because I love seeing cool shit. Sorry.
Sure. No, that's fine. And I think that's one thing that I like to try and bring, especially being Australian. There's a definite different culture here in Australia compared to the UK, compared to the USA, where a lot of the times the shoes that are really popular here, for example, ASICS has been huge in Australia for a long time. New Balance, really big for a long time. And that's kind of different from, I suppose, just the Jordans that are very popular in the US. And obviously, the Air Max line is huge in the UK with the 95 and Air Max 1. And even like the TN line, that sort of, Air Max Plus, the Vaporwave, that kind of thing. It's really different here in Australia. And I think that there's joy for me bringing that to other people where they can understand that Australia's still got a really rich sneaker scene, but is a little bit different. I think it's to do with our weather. It's a little bit hotter here. We don't, we're on our feet a lot, very active sort of society, it's a beautiful country, walk around a lot. ASICS, New Balance, those are perfect. And of course, with Nike and Adidas bringing out running performance brands that are used for lifestyle, it's awesome. Like it's so good.
Yeah, dude.
Australia's got such a cool scene, and obviously through the beauty of the internet, I can chat to people about that, and hopefully that people who are listening to this from the US and the UK can appreciate that we have a culture that's a little bit different, but we're still connected by sneakers. So no, that's really cool, man. And like your podcast as well, I really do enjoy listening to that. You've had some standout episodes, specifically thinking about the Brendan Dunne episode, which you were very happy how well that one did.
That was crazy.
That was a crazy moment. Do you want to kind of, I suppose, you don't have to go blow by blow, but kind of the rundown of how that kind of happened? I'm sure there's a lot of people who are kind of interested in hearing about that story, myself included.
Oh yeah, dude. So Brendan Dunne, I have been a huge fan of everything he's done with like the Complex Sneakers podcast. Oh my God, I'm blanking. What was the other one?
Full Size Run.
Full Size Run. Wow, that was terrible. And just his like articles that he's done on Complex. So like I've always been a fan of his, and the first ever Adidas event that I ever got invited to was the AE1 reveal they did in Atlanta, I guess 2-ish years ago now. And I was there hanging out with just Kevin from Bleacher Report, Des from Nice Kicks, because I had just like met them at past events, so we were pretty tight. And I was literally just chilling there, and Brendan Dunne walked past me, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's Brendan Dunne." They were like, "Yeah, you don't know Brendan?" I was like, "No, I don't know Brendan. Like, I've never talked to him or anything." And they're like, "Well, let's just go chat to him." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I just went over there and like introduced myself, and he was like, "Yo, I've seen your videos." And we both had mustaches, so that was like a conversation starting point. And I remember, what did I say to him? It was like so dumb, but I was like, "So when are you gonna retire? Because like we can't have like both of us being in the sneaker space, two mustache guys, like it just can't happen." And he was like, "I'll retire when I retire." And I was like, cool. Then we just kept in touch. We met up at a number of other little like Adidas and Jordan brand events that they would bring us out to. So, we talk every now and then. And when the announcement happened that he was leaving Complex, I just shot him a text and I was like, "Hey, do you want to like come on the podcast and just like talk about it? Because I know you're in like a lull point with the Complex podcast." So there wasn't like a farewell episode, which typically they would do. So I was just like, "Hey, you want to hop on the pod and talk? And he was like, I can't because like legal stuff with StockX, but if you can give me like a little bit of time, I can do it. We will have to have, people don't know this, there were like 2 legal people from StockX on the podcast with us in the audience, just not like talking. So like, that's why a lot of our questions weren't very like, so tell us like why StockX? Like, you know what I mean? Like very targeted, hard hitting questions. It's because the legal team was there. But regardless, I don't think it took away from the conversation. But yeah, it was just sort of like it all happened at once, and we were happy to be the first people to talk to him on the internet about him leaving and joining StockX. But yeah, super cool. Super cool. Love Brendan.
Do you feel like his last couple of, I suppose, videos I've seen that he's done with StockX have been pretty cool? Like, do you think like he's done something, he's brought something to StockX even in this short time?
I think so. I mean, like it's a short amount of time, dude. It's a long game. And I think, like I said, like I'm chronically not online. Didn't he do some sort of like pop-up with Saucony?
Yeah. Like, was it the J-Tips one? Or he's talking about the Saucony Pro Grid Triumph 4, like that's coming out soon. He's got like a 4-pack as J-Tips. So I think he was doing something with that, some sort of event in New York. So
yeah, which was like cool. I don't know how much of like his involvement was like put into that, but if we can see more like brand activations and like bringing the like collaborators and creators of all these like incredible silhouettes and models, like, and bringing them like in contact with the people that love buying their shit, like that's so cool. Why not create more of those moments? So if that's something he plans on doing in the future, I would really like to see that, even across the world, not just in New York.
Have you seen Community, the TV show? Community?
Yeah.
You know, the Subway character?
Yeah.
That's what I thought of when Brendan Dunne went to StockX. I was like, this corporation has now got a face, you know? And that's I
so
think
true.
That's kind of the way that I think a lot of brands have to kind of think now, is you kind of need to be with the people, you know?
That's a really good point. I like that because now, damn, you're so right. Because I was literally looking on StockX the other day, and the first thought in my mind was, Brendan Dunne. And it's just like that subconscious thing. And now, like, I'm not one to typically pay resale prices for shoes. Like, if I miss out on a release, I'm just kind of like, cool. Like, the next one I'm going to maybe get. Like, I'm just not too worried about it. But now, if I'm like looking to buy a shoe for resale, I'm going to go to StockX. I don't even go to GOAT anymore. Or like eBay. Like, I like eBay. eBay's dope. They have some good stuff, but it's a different sort of market.
Yeah.
But,
well, I hope he got the bag. I hope he got the bag, man, and he deserves it for sure. I hope he did, because and we'll see kind of his residual left, like what happens when he's left, like with Complex in terms of the podcast. You know, obviously everyone loved Full Size Run, and that kind of went away, and then the Complex sneakers. We'll see what happens with that. Obviously, kind of.
I'm very curious.
Yeah.
They haven't released their first episode,
no,
right?
They've obviously got a new host, but I've never heard of him, and we'll see how it goes. But like, yeah, Brendan was obviously kind of. I'm going to say Matt Welty was my favorite. He's my fave over both those shows. Yeah, I love Matt Welty. I don't know what it is, but I just I love his energy. I know it's a bit dour and sometimes low key, but I just love the way that they played off each other. But Matt Welty was awesome. So and especially kind of just making a podcast, you kind of want to know how they make theirs, and obviously they have a huge production team and all that, but all of that stuff is very interesting to nerdy sneakerheads, and I'm super keen to see what they do. Any thoughts on kind of that new direction that they're going to go in?
First off, I didn't mean to say like really when you said Matt Welty was your favorite. I love Matt Welty. I've never met him, which is actually kind of weird, but he seems like a dope dude, and I love what he does. But I'm excited, dude. Like like things are always changing. Like just because you love like the dynamic of like 3 co-hosts doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever. So you kind of have to just accept the change when it comes. Same thing with like Full Size Run. Like they've had a Rolodex of different hosts over the years. And I just think it's going to be cool. I'm going to be tuning in. I tune in like every episode they do. So I'm excited. I just hope it clicks.
Yeah, I hope so too. I think that one thing that I'd like to see probably a couple more guests. I don't know, like Full Size Run kind of every week it was like they brought on a guest, like that was the kind of thing. But I know that's hard, especially kind of booking people. But you know, they're in New York.
Yeah.
You know, like that's kind of the hub, the center for place. You know, and I'm sure
the thing.
I'm sure that you feel that being in Atlanta, kind of a little bit further away from that hub. Do you ever get a little bit of FOMO where you kind of feel like, oh, should I move to like a big city and then kind of I'll be in amongst it all, like LA or New York?
I want to move to New York so bad. Both of us do. But it's just like for the space we have right now, like we're only in a 2-bed, but it's so spacious. And we're both like, dude, if we move to New York, like we're not going to get anything for half of like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. But I would love to.
It would be
I do get FOMO.
Huge lifestyle change, I think. You know, it'd be a huge lifestyle change, and you know, you're recently married, maybe starting a family, that sort of thing. So, you know, all of that kind of factors in, and that's something that I've kind of had to think about. Even in Australia, I don't know how it is over in America, but house prices are just getting crazy over here, especially in the big cities. So maybe one day I'll just shut off my phone and just go like a nomad, just go live out in the wilderness. You know, just get sick of it.
That's what she wants to do. She just wants to travel the world and be like, boom, do whatever, which would be really cool.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
No,
we'll definitely see.
I'm more of a family man. So that's kind of where I'm at. But hey, anything that can kind of provide for any sort of future kids, big house, all that sort of stuff. And obviously a room for a studio and sneakers, because that's kind of very important.
It's essential, right?
Yeah. I don't think you'd have nearly as much room for your sneakers if you moved to New York. Like, no way.
That's the other thing. And I'm just thinking about like my lights, my desk, like anything. I'm like, I'd have to literally rent out a studio space, which
I think
a whole other dynamic.
If we're going on the trajectory that you're on right now, I think that's a real possibility. So, you know, keep it going. Could move to, you know, Minnesota and actually do the podcast in person. So
that's the one thing I wish we lived in the same city. But, you know, it is what it is. We make it work, and it's pretty cool. I enjoy seeing Charlie when I do. Makes the time more fun.
And again, if you want to check out Seth and Charlie's podcast, the link will be down in the description as well as both of their Instagrams. Put all that, like, just go and check that out. You'll be the timestamps as well down below for all the questions. So all of that good stuff. And again, please do the internet things. Please, you know, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and give us a rating on any of the audio platforms you're listening on. So I really do appreciate it, Seth. Thank you so much for your time. I know it's getting to be late in the evening over there, but was there any sort of, I suppose, last second things you wanted to kind of say before we sign off for the evening?
Bro, you're so good at that. Oh my goodness. Like the intro, the middle, like, it's precision. I love it. Well, like, what are some of the pairs that you've been excited for this year, or what brands really have your attention?
I mean, unfortunately, I feel like I've strayed away from New Balance, which was like my number one, my love for so long. And it's just, it's not a conscious decision. It's just other brands have been making things that have really sparked me. Like, like the Adidas, like innovations, the jellyfish, like retro Jordans. Like, I love branching out to those sort of things. And I think that's kind of the beauty, is the diversity of sneakers. So I've enjoyed branching out a little bit more. You've probably seen it on the, you know, content side, where I'm doing videos with like Saucony and Reebok, those sort of like brands and those kind of exciting sneakers, and just chatting about some of the trends, like the ABC pair. We didn't even chat about that, the advisory board crystals, which I've been DMing them all the time, like, yo, where is it?
I want to see the shoes so damn bad, dude. And so many people thought we had them already. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, because you just got the box.
I haven't seen them. I just have the box.
Maybe I made the joke. Maybe they're all just invisible women. Like, they're all just the.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
That would just.
No, dude.
Yeah.
When we got the boxes in, I was the first, I guess, like, person that I know who opened them. I literally opened the first one, was live, like, recording my unboxing reaction, which was very genuine when I made the face, like, what the heck, is there even a shoe in here? I literally had to pause it and like FaceTime Charlie, and I was like, dude, have you opened these boxes yet? And he's like, no. And he like opens his box and he's like, I don't have any shoes either, what the hell? And I was like, what is this? What is going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Very on
I don't know.
brand.
I wasn't even going to drop that video.
Yeah.
And then I'm glad I did because it did very well
Yeah.
on like TikTok and YouTube.
I think that
So
people are
it's
going to
okay.
be excited about that, and yeah, that's going to be a good piece of content to make. You know, a little bit of a live unboxing.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole thing that they're going for. It's just probably
Yeah.
in this age of instant gratification. You know, the kind of short attention span. It's like we've already moved on to so many different sneakers, undefeated fours, all that sort
Yeah.
of stuff, and we're kind of just sitting here like, oh, that's right, I've already paid for these shoes. Oh, but I don't have them. It's very kind of
Sadly.
usual feeling. It's very, you know, it's not what we would usually have happen, and now we're kind of waiting, but still excited. You know, we still got a few
It's
months
out
left
of their
in the year.
control.
It is.
That's all. Like,
It's about Puma and customs, and they want to kind of make everyone get them all at once. So, but it's
Which I love.
It's exciting to see like who's going to be the first kind of in that scene to like release it. It's
Oh,
going to be,
dude.
it's like a race to the finish line. Like who's going to get it first. So, you know, that's
know.
that's going to be very exciting. But yeah, those have kind of been the brands that have piqued my interest. But hey, there's still so many New Balance shoes that I love. Like, you know, the Joe Freshgoods 992s and the Action Bronson 990 V6 are probably going to be in my top 5 of the year.
they're just so expensive, bro. It kills me. Because like this year alone, I bought the Allerdales, which are like already retail prices crazy. I bought like 2 pairs of the 991 V2s because I've really been wanting those. And I'm like, dude, just those alone, like 2 pairs of those are like $500. Like, what the hell? But they're so cool. Like they've had so many crazy releases this year.
They've had a ton. Like the 991 V2 is probably one of my favorites. I had them the other day. They're like Australia exclusive when they did that city pack. That was
The
really
yellow
cool.
ones?
The yellow ones, yeah, they were exclusive to Australia.
Every time you post those on your story, I'm like, oh, it hurts.
They're a bit dirty now, but hey, it is what it
Good.
is. It is what
They're
it is.
supposed to be.
Wear your sneakers, and again, yeah, that's one thing that I always say to people: like, don't just let your sneakers sit in a box. Obviously, wear them, get them out. You know, they're works of art that you can wear on your feet. Like, you know, get some stories put into them. Some of my favorite shoes are ones that I have had great experiences in, not just, they're worth the most amount of money. You know, that's one of my favorite.
And someone asked me that the other day. They were like, what is your like most expensive pair of shoes in your collection? And I was like, I literally had to like sit here and stare at like every wall. And I'm like, I don't look at it, dude. I just don't. I don't know.
But there's definitely ones that I wouldn't want to lose because, and they're like GRs, and they're like, I wouldn't want to lose that because that's the shoe I wore when we're on our honeymoon, that sort of thing. Like that's.
Oh yeah, that's so true. What is your favorite? We can close after this. I know it's been like almost an hour. What are like some GRs right now that you're wearing heavily?
I'm still wearing a lot of like MX95s, even when they're not. Like there was that erosion pack recently. One wear that a lot. Still wear a lot of the like New Balance 1906R. You know, the Gel Kayano 14 from ASICS, those kind of shoes. But really just like, also like Jordan 1s. So tons of those sort of GRs. I have a job that can vary where I don't have to walk all the time, but some days I do have to walk a lot. So can pick and choose this kind of style of shoe that you wear based on the activity of doing during the day. But those sort of inline runners from ASICS, New Balance, those ones are still pretty heavy in the rotation. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, for me, definitely the Kayano 14. I'm at the point where I have like 6 pairs now, and it's a problem. Like I can wear those GRs all day. The Addy Zero Evo like SL, another one like so good. One that I've been wearing recently, and I know that you posted photos, the different colorway of these, the Gel Quantum 360s. This is the Jound collab, kind of. I mean, you wouldn't know if you didn't know, but I've been wearing these more, and like, it's a good shoe. Like they're great.
They've got a few more colorways of those coming out as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get them. I need to get them. Like, there's so many cool silhouettes out.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very nice from ASICS, especially that 360 gel going all the way around the shoe. It's definitely a different feeling. And that's something, that people kind of ask the most as well. Not only what's the most expensive shoe, but what's the most comfortable shoe. And I'm like, well, it really depends on the brand and what you're doing during that day. If you're walking a lot, you want something in that sort of gel feel, that kind of bouncy feel. if you're doing a lot of standing, there's certain shoes that you can wear for that. Like and I think that's where the knowledge of sneakers and reviewing kind of comes in handy. If people ask you those questions, you can give feedback and user advice. So,
I can give you like 10 different models right now that are going to be comfortable, but like, what do you want? Like, what do you want?
Most people just want the good colors. That's kind of that's what people care a lot about.
That's the other thing.
I just want a shoe that's colorful. They don't really care about the comfort a lot of the time, which is, I feel like, a little bit silly because there's great comfortable shoes that also look great. So
yeah, and from every brand.
Yeah,
and from every single brand too, which is what a time to be alive. Like I said, it's so cool.
That's great words, man. And I think we'll close there. I really do appreciate again you coming on. Again, everybody for watching. I really do appreciate it. We will be back next week with another episode. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. Have a good day.
Peace.